traders, welcome. Thanks so much for joining this webinar, this Capitalise.ai webinar exclusive for IE traders. Before we get started, give me a quick guess in the chat that you can hear me and that you can see my screen. And during the webinar, if the sound goes or if you can't, if something happens to the screen, please let me know straight on the chat. Okay, Steve, thanks. Guys, a few more. And then we'll get moving. You should be able to see trading view at the moment. Duke, thanks. Jeremy, thanks. Tommy, let me know. Thomas, let me know. Rob, let me know. Nicholas, sorry, let me know. Nadir, Louis, Froylan, guys, let me know that you can all hear me. You can see my screen. We're on trading view at the moment. And I've got a few yeses now, so all of you should be able to. Okay, awesome. So I think most of you can see the screen. So guys, welcome to the webinar. Thanks for joining. We're going to be looking at how we can automate candlestick pattern strategies. So how we can historically define a pattern or historically define an indicator. And we'll go into how we can do that. Just before, I just wanted to go through a few assets that have had intense volatility for the last couple of days. Just looking at the USD ZAR, the South African Rand, and today alone, the Rand's given up 3%. A pretty big bullish bar there. Let's just check what's happening with Apple. Apple looks like it's trading fairly horizontally for the last couple of months. Amazon as well. Let's just check Tesla. Tesla's been having a rough time as of late. Lost almost 15%, I think, since the beginning of, or a month ago rather. So Tesla is, but they've had quite a big rise if you look from the beginning of last year, where you could get a Tesla for almost 78.50. So almost tenfold at the moment, and most of you have heard that Elon Musk bought or instructed the board to buy Bitcoin. I think it was 300,000 Bitcoin or something like that. So I think everyone's watching Bitcoin at the moment. Just to end off with Bitcoin's rise, especially the volatility in the last little while, probably since the beginning of this year. I mean, if you take it from the 1st of Jan, where it was starting to get over 20, and now it's pushing to stay above 50. So that's some interesting stuff that's happening in the market. And without further ado, let's get into automating candlesticks, looking at what it is and how you can fit it into strategy. So just to start you off here, the candlestick pattern is basically a way to name a candlestick. So for example, here, if we have some candle bars in a row here, we can see that this is the current bar, the open bar. This is the current bar can never close. So you can only use the high, low, open. If it closes, it becomes the previous bar automatically. So the latest close bar is always referred to as the previous bar, and then after that, or sorry, before that, you have offset 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. I think you can go up to 30 or so. So we're going to look at creating some patterns with this, and the most important thing to understand is obviously that these are the names of the bars. So if we, like for instance, if Apple bar won by 15-minute close with an offset of 1, we're referring to this bar in our lineup. We're referring to the close of this bar in our lineup, this being the previous and this being the current. And before then, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So it's really easy. We're going to get into it now, and just remember that it's just about naming the bars. And then we can start creating the patterns with it. And traders, if you have any questions while we're going through this, you know, type it into the chat box. Okay, great. So we're going to look at how we can create patterns with this or related to price and indicators as well. So let's go to our Capitalize wizard. And for any new traders that are here, this is what it will look like when you log into Capitalize. This is our web interface, and just to get you orientated on the left-hand menu bar, you can navigate anywhere and everywhere on Capitalize. We're not going to go through everything today. What we're going to do is we're going to start with create a new strategy. So this is where you can backtest, simulate, and run live. So let's look at some candlestick patterns. And obviously, there are a lot of candlestick patterns out there. These are just some of them. Anything you want to do or anything you want to describe, you can describe with Capitalize and with offsets, just as we're about to now. It's just about being precise. And if you can't be precise, we'll look at ways around that as well, pertaining to indicators. So let's just have a look at a candle bar. So most of you know a bullish candle bar has the open at the bottom and the close at the top. And obviously a bearish bar is vice versa. The open's at the top and the close is at the bottom. So let's say we were trying to describe this bar here, the bullish bar. So we want to describe this bar. So the first thing we got to find is where is this bar in the list, and we'll just make it up now. We'll just say it's the previous bar. So we're going for the latest closed bar. And we can describe it as, let me just put that there. We can describe it as bullish by just describing the close of this bar as being above the open. So let's go if let's say Apple, cool, bar, we're using previous, sorry. So we're gonna go previous, and we'll call it a 1 hour bar. And now we're gonna name it. So this is, oh, sorry, we've already named it. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yes, we already named the previous hour bar close is greater than Apple Inc. previous 1 hour bar open. So that's really easy. You can describe a bullish bar as being bullish just by simply describing where the close and where the open are of the same bar. You see here we've used previous 1 hour close, and it's greater than the previous 1 hour bar open. And obviously to create a bearish candle, you could just swap the signs around. You can say the previous close is below the previous 1 hour open. So this is what we're going to use, and this is what you traders can use to create these patterns. Okay, so David, welcome. So just to quickly recap for any latecomers in here, an offset is a way to describe, to name a candle bar in a series. So for instance, you can see here we have our series of candle bars. This is the current bar. It's still moving up and down. You can only relate to the current bar in the open, high, or low. The moment a current bar closes, it's going to become the previous bar. So the previous bar is the latest closed bar, and then you have offset 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a way to name each candle bar. So let's get back to here. And so it's really easy to describe whether it's a bullish or a bearish. So let's get into it, and let's try create a few patterns, and then we're going to backtest a few of them as well. So let's see here. Okay, let's describe something really simple like this. Okay, so let's just take this back. And in the same way we just described any bar, we're going to describe these bars. So I've labeled here, we got offset 2, we got offset 1, and then we got previous. we could add a condition to say what's going to happen in the current, but we won't do that for now. As soon as the previous bar closes and this condition is met, the trade is going to trigger. So let's try and create this. So let's say, okay, if Tesla, and we're going to reference bar 2 as a bearish bar by saying the close is below the open. So Tesla bar, and remember when you click bar, you can change your parameters here. So we'll say, okay, if Tesla bar close with an offset of 2 bars is below, and now we're going to refer to the open of this of offset 2. So we're going to go again with bar, and we're going to go 1 hour open this time with an offset of 2. Okay, so we've described the first bearish bar. Pretty simple. We just said the close was below the open. So let's move on to offset 1, and let's describe this. So you could do it exactly the same, or you could just say the close of offset 1 is below the close of offset 2. So let's go for that one. So, and if Tesla bar, and we'll keep the same bar, and we're going to go close this time with an offset of 1 bars, and we're going to say is below Tesla bar, and let's go 1 hour close with an offset of 2. And guys, feel free to pop your questions in while I'm going through this. So we just described here the second bar. We've described the offset 1's close is below offset 2, therefore it must be a bearish bar. And then we're going to describe the previous bar. The previous bar, we're just going to describe it as the close is above offset 1's open. That would mean it's a bullish bar that closed above there. So we'll go, and if Tesla previous 1 hour bar close is above Tesla bar, and it's 1 hour close with an offset of 1 bars. Okay, great. So now we've described that exact pattern. So we've described 2 bars, 2 bearish bars followed by a bullish bar that closes above the middle open. And let's just say then by, I don't know, 1 Tesla. Okay, so we've done our entry and we're going to move on to next. And for any new traders here, you can see at the top, we have our timeline. Feel free to move back if you wish on here. Nothing's going to edit. So if we write close position at trailing stop of, well, let's say 2, well, let's go 2%. Okay, if you go back now, you don't have to worry. Everything will still be there when you go, and the timeline tells you where you are. So, okay, so let's close this position at 2% trailing stop. Let's click next. On the confirmation page, you can name your strategy, and remember, guys, that Capitalise offers a full trading solution. You can backtest, simulate, and run live. So we're going to backtest the strategy. And let's see some results that come out of here, and then we got to get moving. We've got a few more strategies to do. We're going to look at how you can take this pattern and just make it into another pattern. So the moment you have, you know, this understanding of how to use offset, you can change it and use the bars that you're looking for or adjust it to the bars that you're looking for. So let's see what comes out of this strategy. And just for the next ones, we're going to go in and create some other ones and maybe see if we can get some better results with some strategies. And just to explain, while this backtest is running, for those of you who are new to Capitalise, this is our beta version. It tests for 90 days previous. That's yesterday, 90 days previous, including weekends. You have your hits here. A hit is a cycle, it's an entry and an exit. And remember that each trade needs to go through a cycle before entering the next. So you can't have multiple entries. You should have an entry and an exit and then an entry. The total P&L is gross P&L. It's exclusive of trading fees or anything like that. and you then have your run live, and you have your control panel here, which I'm going to come back to in a moment, where you can run live, edit, clone, rerun, or get a shareable link. You can see here we ended at 44 hits at 8.17%, and you can see your hit charts is here. You can move your mouse pointer over the hit chart, and it'll bring up some details like hit 24, the return, the P&L. The min P&L and the max P&L is the highest and lowest point that the trade reached during the time it was active. If you want to find more details, we have the notification panel here. So if we're looking at, let's say, 24, you could just scroll down until you see hit 24, and each hit will have two cards, obviously an entry and an exit. So if we're looking at 24, you can find here that, okay, 24 triggered on the 22nd of Jan, 12:30 p.m. EST on my interface, 1 unit, and that's your execution price. And then always above it will be the exit. This trade lasted 3 days, exited 10:30 EST, and you can see the units and the execution price. So, and then just below that, you have your winning and losing ratio. So let's get cracking on here, guys, and let's take the strategy we just created was that 2 bears followed by bulls. So now we're going to change it, and we're going to do a bear followed by 2 bulls, and the bull's going to close over the open of offset 2. So the easiest way to do this is to just clone the strategy. So clone the strategy. It's going to bring it up in the wizard, and then all we're actually going to have to do is change a few things. So to get a bearish bar, okay, the first one was bearish, so we don't even have to change that. Here, we just have to say the close of offset 1 is above, just change that sign, is above the close of offset 2, which makes it bullish. And then just to change this, we can say the previous hour close is above the bar close with offset 2. I'll just click there, and there we go. So we just took this pattern easily, and we just made it into this pattern. So you guys can, play around with it, test, see what comes up. So let's test this pattern on Tesla as well. Maybe we should make this like 5%. Let's just see. Well, you know what? Let's do it like this. Let's change this to close position at profit. Oh, let me get my syntax right here. At profit of 8% or loss is 2%. Just test it. Let's see what comes out of here. And then, it's really quickly to actually turn this, strategy into really anything you want, and you can build on it. So the moment, you understand where it will trigger and how to describe each bar, it becomes really easy. So while this is backtesting, let's quickly change this 3 inside up to a 3 inside down. And then let's just have a look at the results of Tesla. Obviously, we're using different exits for all of them. So let's go back to clone. Clone is really important. I don't edit or I don't edit my backtest or rerun it, because otherwise you lose that original backtest. So I just clone it. You can clone as many as you want. You can have as many backtests as you want. Let me see another question coming in here. Jeremy asks, is it better to put a stop on the entry or define a loss on the exit? Jeremy, I think it's up to you. Personally, I'll define the loss in the exit, but there are some orders. You probably need to define it in the exit. So you could go, for instance, we're gonna change this now to 3 inside down. So, and then we'll adjust the stop as well in the exit. Thanks for that question, Jeremy. So let's change it to a 3 inside down. So now we have a bull starting. So let's just change this to, okay, the close is above the open of here. We know that this is a bearish bar, so the close of this bar must be below the close of the previous bar. We'll just change this around. Okay. And then this is bearish, so this close is going to be below the open of offset 2. So we got to change firstly here to open, and we're going to change this around. So this close is going to be below this open. Let's test it. Peter, no problem. Thanks for joining in. Let's keep going with the webinar. You may be able to fit this into your strategy. So let's do this. For instance, let's close position if it gets to 10% profit or trailing. Oh, let's go. Let me get my syntax right here. Or at. Oh, we can just go trailing stop. Or a trailing stop is, well, let's make it, it's 10% profit. Let's go 5%. Let's see what comes out. Okay, so very easily, we've taken one strategy and we're able to adapt 3 different patterns. So you can adapt the strategy to pretty much any kind of pattern you can think about, and also add on to it if you feel like, just move everything up. And if you're doing a long pattern, perhaps it's easier just to write down each step on a notepad or something and just paste in what you think the strategy should be. So while these 3 strategies are running, let's go have a look and see what we got from these strategies. And we'll go to the My Strategies page. You can see all your strategies here, whether you're back testing or running live or simulating. And we're going to go to test. Okay, so the first strategy with Tesla worked out at 44 hits at 8.17, the second at 11.37 at 29, and this one, obviously, the 3 inside down, which is bearish, which is understandably done not well against Tesla, because Tesla for the last 3 months has been obviously very bullish, and so on. Okay, great. So that's how you can take one strategy and turn it around and mix it and adapt it to what you need to do. So obviously, let's have a look what else we got here. Okay, so that would be the one point where you could trigger it. So in our strategies here, the triggers happen straight after the previous closes. So as the previous closes and the current opens, that's when it triggers. However, you may want to reference the current in as well, which you can. So for instance, if we were going to say, okay, let's describe this 3 bullish bars, and only when the high of the current crosses above the previous close by, I don't know, 2%, then only we want to get it. So that's really easy to do. So we can clone this, and you can adjust the strategy to pretty much anything that you're looking for. So we can say, okay, so we know that the first bar, offset 2, is bullish, which we've got there. We've now got to change offset 1 to bullish, so we can actually just change the sign here. Okay, so if the close is above the close, yeah, that's perfect. And then we can just say here, we can just turn this to there, and we can just refer here to the close. And instead of bar with offset 2, we'll just do 1 because it's 3 bars moving up. Okay, so we've got that first strategy, and then we could add something like this. We could say, okay, if that all happens, great, and if Tesla price crosses above the previous day close, oh, sorry, I'm using hour. So the previous hour, above the previous 1 hour bar, there we are, by, let's say, let's say close rather, by 2%. Great, so not only have we described these three, but we've also said, okay, but when the current opens, we need the high to go above 2%, and only then do we want to get it. So you guys can create exactly what you want here, as long as you're precise with it. And we're gonna go into now. We actually have to get moving because we've got a few more strategies to go through. We're gonna go into now how we can use this with indicators. Perhaps for some of you who are using maybe 2 indicators that you sometimes find trigger in a very short time frame with each other, how to get that in. We're gonna go through that in a moment. Let's just see some questions coming through here. Okay, RS, cool question here. So RS is asking, is there a way to see if there is a reversal as you defined? So the only way right now to do it is to actually create the strategy, clone it, and then change it to the reversal and run it. Now, we know that traders are looking for these for a reversal strategy, and we know that traders want to run a single strategy over a group of stocks. So instead of creating a strategy with all Tesla, you want to create, if this pattern happens, and group, you know, the 25 or 26 stocks that you'll normally trade with together, and then run the strategy through. This is on our roadmap already. It's high up on our list of upcoming developments. So you know, we'll keep you posted, but just for now, this is the easiest to do it. Cool question, Aris. Let's see, Steve. Yeah. Steve's asked, does this site only work with US stocks? Steve, at the moment, yes. Introducing non-US stocks is it's on our list. However, we have no ETA on that. But yeah, for the moment, it's US. We'll obviously keep all of you up to date with any new features and so on. So guys, let's get back to this and say, okay, then buy 1 Tesla. Let's just run this and get straight on to the next strategy. We're going to look at some indicators, using indicators with this. So let's just run this. And we'll just back test. Okay, so let's get into some indicators. Okay, one more question. Vic, cool question here. Can we create a screener to alert us in the set condition is met? We don't have a scanning feature as of yet. However, you can set smart notifications up. So for instance, okay, we'll let the strategy run. We'll just go straight into this. For instance, you don't have to always enact a buy or a sell. You could enact a notify me. And then you can say, notify me if this happens or that happens or that happens. However, I think what you mean is a scan, like almost a scanner feature that alerts you to, you know, the basket of stocks that you generally watch. At the moment, no, but we're working on that. Great. Okay, so guys, let's get straight into it. We're running out of time. So let's look at. Okay, let's look at Amazon. Let's look at Apple. Okay, and let's just have a full screen here. And let's work with an indicator. Okay, let's just say let's just add a moving average or a crossover of a moving average, and let's add a MACD. Okay, let's see if we can try and create a strategy like this. So let's just use 9 and we'll use 21. Okay, so we're obviously looking for crossovers, and let's use here perhaps an hour. Maybe they'll give us some better. Okay, great. So let's say, okay, let's say this. We want obviously one of the triggers to be the crossover. So we're watching for every time the 9 moving average crosses over the 21 moving average. Let's say, okay, not only do we want a crossover, but we want the 21 MA to be rising by a certain amount after the crossover in order to enact the trade. So we're going to go with that, and then let's say within this time frame, you're also looking at the MACD line crossing over the signal line. So let's say you're using these two, using crossover of 9 EMA above 21 EMA, and you're using the MACD line crossing over the signal line. So this doesn't happen. This is actually close, but this doesn't normally happen. Like here, you can see the crossover of the MACD has occurred on this candle, and the crossover of the MA occurs 2 candles later. So let's say, okay, you want it within this kind of time frame. You know they kind of cross close together, and perhaps you have a feeling that when this does play out, you know, that's when you want to get into. So we can create this. So let's say, okay, the crossover of the MACD takes place here. Okay, and then the crossover of the moving average takes there. And let's say we want it to be rising, I don't know, over the next 2 candles by a certain amount from when it crossed. Okay, so we're going to label all of these. So let's just put these in quickly. So we'll go, this is our previous. That's offset 1. So this line here is going to be offset 2. Okay. And then this one will be 3 and this will be 4. So we'll just use 4 here for now. Okay, so let's get in and create the strategy. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to condition the MACD crossover. So we're going to say, okay, the MACD crossover happens on offset 4. So we'll go back to our strategy and we'll go, okay, so if, I don't know, let's just use AMD, and we're going to go with the bar, and we're using a 1-hour bar. Close. Oh, sorry, we're going with the MACD. We're not actually going with the bar. So we're going to go MACD line. Okay, and we're going to use a 1-hour. Sorry, let's use a 1-hour there. Close. With, and just exactly as you name the bars, you're going to name the indicator on where it is. So with an offset of 4 bars, crosses above the signal line. Okay. I don't, oh yeah, we do. You need to name the signal line as well. 4 bars. Great, so we've labeled that that's happened. At the same time, we know that the 9 MA still is below the 21 MA. So let's say we don't know what happens on 2, but we know from the time the MACD crosses, we know that there's a certain amount of time before the MA cross. And if it does happen, then you want to get in. Great. So we could actually show the MA is crossing over by just saying that on offset 4, the 9 MA is below 21 MA. And then on the previous, the 9 MA is now above the 21 MA, implying at some stage during these 4 candles, the crossover occurred. So we could say it like this, okay? So, and if AMD, we'll use moving average, we'll just go 9, 1-hour close, and name this as well with an offset of 4 bars is, or we'll just use the easier one, is below and AMD MA. And we're going to go here with a 21, and we're going to go with a 1-hour close. and name this as well, an offset of 4 bars. Oh, wait, let me get that syntax right. Okay, so we've labeled that as well. So now we can say, okay, it's happened there. We don't know it's actually going to happen to, so we can take that away. Let's put the 4 back. Okay, so we know that the crossover happens sometime after the crossover of the MACD. So now we're just going to say, to show that the crossovers happened, is now the 9 MA is above the 21 MA on the previous. And unlike bars, guys, you don't need to use previous with indicators, because the latest indicator is taken from a closed position, and therefore it is the previous. So you can say, and if AMD MA, and let's just go 9, and here we'll go 1 hour close is above AMD MA. Okay, moving average 21, 1 hour close. Great, perfect. So we described a crossover. I don't know when the MA is going to happen, but it's going to happen in here. And if it plays out like this, we want the MA to, let's say, at least be rising for the last 2 bars by a certain amount. Let's just see if we can get some hits. I don't know if we're going to be able to, but to say that's really easy. So we're only going to use the 21 MA because that's what we're interested in rising. So we're going to say, and if AMD MA, and we'll use the 21. Let me click there. There we go, 21. 1 hour close, and we're going to say is above the AMD MA, and we're going to use the 21 again, and the 1 hour close with an offset of 2 bars. So the same MA is above the same MA 2 bars before by, I don't know, let's say by 0.2%. You could work on that. Then by 1 AMD. Let's see if this even works out. Let's see if we can get a hit here. And let's just say close position at 2% profit. Or let's actually change that to a trailing stop at trailing. Oh, it's tinging me there. I need to get my syntax on the go here. At trailing stop, there we are. Of we'll just use 5%. Let's see if we get a trade. Okay, so we'll backtest. Remember, all we try to create is a little pattern like this to say, okay, when the MACD crosses, we'll give it 4 bars for this to cross, and if it is crossing, and if the slow MA, the 21 MA, is increasing by a certain percentage, only then we want to get in the market. We're looking at Apple at the moment, so maybe we should try this with Apple. Oh, we've actually got 1 hit there. That's pretty cool. We should probably clone this and try it with Apple, and we should be able to get that hit we just described. Okay, so okay, we only got 1 hit, nothing really spectacular to go on there, but that's an easy way for you guys to describe, especially you traders that are using a lot of indicators, you know, that you want to trigger in a certain amount of time. Perhaps look and see what the best time is. Obviously, you know, there are differences, but perhaps you can find an optimum time and then, you know, place the trade, create the strategy for that. You can do that just by simply, you know, showing where the positions are of a moving average or a MACD at a certain point, and then showing where it is afterwards. Quick question, Steve, can you do options as well? Guys, we know that options and futures traders want it. We're working on it. We're in the early development of it. So Steve, you will have options soon. I don't want to say when because we don't really have an ETA on it yet. we'll keep you updated. Otherwise, guys, I think we've got this. I hope I've given you a little bit more info. If you guys want to read up more about this, on the left-hand menu bar, you can go to our support page. And on our support page, you can candlesticks. You got an article to walk you through there. Another thing is our Discord group. For those of you traders who haven't joined, you really got to. We got a lot of traders here that are sharing different strategies, and feel free to share yours if you want, or chat with fellow traders that are automating their trading. Join our Discord, and if you don't know where to find the invite, just click on the in-app chat. And once it opens up, you'll be able to see all your conversations. It should be the last one. You can just join our Discord group. So I think we've got through everything I wanted to. Guys, if you've got any questions, feel free to pop them over to me for the next 4 minutes or so. Yeah, if you've got any, if you need any help creating a strategy, we'll do our best. Just send us a message on the chat, and we'll get back to you. One more thing, download our app, set up mobile notifications. You can get all the notifications on your mobile instead of by email or desktop. Great, guys, I'm gonna leave it at that. I think it's been good. Good luck trading for the rest of the week, and for next week, join our next webinar, join on Discord and the conversation, and we'll see you soon in the next webinar. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome evening.